Thank you so much for joining me today to wind down together with another folk tale. Anansi obtains the sky god stories from the Ashanti people. Kwaku Anansi had one great wish. He longed to be the owner of all the stories known in the world, but these were kept by the sky god, Nyami. The Ashanti referred to God as Nyami. The Dagomba call him Muni, while the Kurachi refer to him as Warbadi. In a safe hiding place high above the clouds. One day Anansi decided to pay the sky god a visit to see if he could persuade Nyami to sell him the stories. "I am flattered you have come so far, little creature," sky god told Anansi. "But many rich and powerful men have preceded you, and none have been able to purchase what they came here for. I am willing to part with my stories, but the price is very high. What makes you think that you can succeed where they have all failed?" "I feel sure I will be able to buy them," answered Anansi bravely. "If you will only tell me what the price is." "You are very determined, I see," replied Nyami. "But I must warn you that the price is no ordinary one. Listen carefully now to what I demand of you. First of all, you must capture Onini, the wise old python, and present him to me. When you have done this, you must go in search of Momboro, the largest nest of hornets in the forest, and bring them here also. Finally, look for Osebo, the fastest of all leopards, and set a suitable trap for him. Bring him to me either dead or alive. When you have delivered me these 3 things, all the stories of the world will be handed over to you." "I shall bring you everything you ask for," Anansi declared firmly. And he hastened towards his home, where he began making plans for the tasks ahead. That afternoon he sat down with his wife, Aso, and told her all about his visit to the sky god. "How will I go about trapping the great python Onini?" he asked her. His wife, who was a very clever woman, instructed her husband to make a special trip to the center of the woods. "Go and cut yourself a long bamboo pole," she ordered him, "and gather some strong creeper vines as well. As soon as you have done this, return here to me, and I will tell you what to do with these things." Anansi gathered these objects as his wife had commanded, and after they had spent some hours consulting further, he set off enthusiastically towards the house of Onini. As he approached closer, he suddenly began arguing with himself in a loud and angry voice. "My wife is a stupid woman," he pronounced. "She says it is longer and stronger. I say it is shorter and weaker. She has no respect. I have a great deal. She is stupid. I am right." "What's all this about?" asked the python, suddenly appearing at the door of his hut. "Why are you having this angry conversation with yourself?" "Oh, please ignore me," answered the spider. "It's just that my wife has put me in such a bad mood, for she says this bamboo pole is longer and stronger than you are, and I say she is a liar." "There is no need for the 2 of you to argue so bitterly on my account," replied the python. "Bring that pole over here, and we will soon find out who is right." So Anansi laid the bamboo pole on the earth, and the python stretched himself out alongside it. "I'm still not certain about this," said Anansi after a few moments. "When you stretch at one end, you appear to shrink at the other end. Perhaps if I tied you to the pole, I would have a clearer idea of your size." "Very well," answered the python, "just so long as we can sort this out properly." Anansi then took the creeper vine and wrapped it round and round the length of the python's body until the great creature was unable to move. "Onini," said Anansi, "it appears my wife was right. You are shorter and weaker than this pole, and more foolish into the bargain. Now you are my prisoner, and I must take you to the sky god, as I have promised." The great python lowered his head in defeat as Anansi tugged on the pole, dragging him along towards the home of Nyami. "You have done well, Spider," said the god. "But remember, there are 2 more equally difficult quests ahead. You have much to accomplish yet, and it would not be wise to delay here any longer." So Anansi returned home once more and sat down to discuss the next task with his wife. "There are still hornets to catch," he told her, "and I cannot think of a way to capture an entire swarm all at once." "Look for a gourd," his wife suggested, "and after you have filled it with water, go out in search of the hornets." Anansi found a suitable gourd and filled it to the brim. Fortunately, he knew exactly the tree where the hornets had built their nest, but before he approached too closely, he poured some of the water from the gourd over himself, so that his clothes were dripping wet. Then, when he began sprinkling the nest with the remaining water while shouting out to the hornets, "Why do you remain in such a flimsy shelter, Muboro? When the great rains have already begun, you will soon be swept away, you foolish people. Here, take cover in this dry gourd of mine, and it will protect you from the storms." The hornets thanked the spider for this most timely warning, and disappeared one by one into the gourd. As soon as the last of them had entered, Anansi plugged the mouth of the vessel with some grass and chuckled to himself, "Fools, I have outwitted you as well. Now you can join Onini, the python. I'm certain Nyami will be very pleased to see you." Anansi was delighted with himself. It had not escaped his notice that even the sky god appeared rather astonished by his success, and it filled him with great excitement to think that very soon he would own all the stories of the world. Only Osebo, the leopard, stood between the spider and his great wish, but Anansi was confident that with the help of his wife, he could easily ensnare the creature as he had done all the others. "You must go and look for the leopard's tracks," his wife told him, "and then dig a hole where you know he is certain to walk." Anansi went away and dug a very deep pit in the earth, covering up with branches and leaves so that it was well hidden from the naked eye. Nighttime closed in around him, and soon afterwards, Osebo came prowling as usual, and fell right into the deep hole, snarling furiously as he hit the bottom. At dawn on the following morning, Anansi approached the giant pit and called to the leopard, "What has happened here? Have you been drinking, leopard? How on earth will you manage to escape from this great hole?" "I have fallen into a silly man trap," said the leopard impatiently. "Help me out at once. I am almost starving to death in this wretched place." "And if I help you, how can I be sure you won't eat me?" asked Anansi. "You say you are very hungry after all." "I wouldn't do a thing like that," Osebo reassured him. "I beg you, just this once, to trust me. Nothing bad will happen to you, I promise." Anansi hurried away from the opening of the pit and soon returned with a long, thick rope. Glancing around him, he spotted a tall, green tree. It bent it towards the ground, securing it with a length of rope so that the tree branches hung over the pit. Then he tied another piece of the rope to these branches, dropping the loose end into the pit for the leopard to tie his tail. "As soon as you have tied a large knot, let me know, and I will haul you up," shouted Anansi. Osebo obeyed the spider's every word, and as soon as he gave the signal that he was ready, Anansi cut the rope pinning the tree to the ground. It sprung upright at once, pulling the leopard out of the hole in one swift motion. Osebo hung upside down, wriggling and twisting helplessly, trying with every ounce of his strength to loosen his tail from the rope. But Anansi was not about to take any chances, and he plunged a knife deep into the leopard's chest, killing him instantly. Then he lifted the leopard's body from the earth and carried it all the way to the sky god. Nyame now called together all the elders of the sky, among them the Adonten, the Oyoko, the Kontire, and Akwam chiefs, and informed them of the great exploits of Anansi the spider. Many great warriors and chiefs have tried before, the sky god told the congregation, but none has been able to pay the price I have asked of them. Kwaku Anansi has brought me Onini the python, the Momoro nest, and the body of the mighty Osebo. The time has come to repay him as he deserves. He has won the right to tell my stories. From today, they will no longer be called stories of the sky god, but stories of Anansi the spider. And so, with Nami's blessing, Anansi became the treasurer of all the stories that have ever been told. And even now, whenever a man wishes to tell a story for the entertainment of his people, he must acknowledge first of all that the tale is a great gift given to him by Anansi the spider. That was a pretty funny tale, considering even though Anansi had received all the stories of the sky god, Nyame, a lot of the ideas were mainly from his wife, so I wonder if he was kind enough to share that title with his wife, considering he always asked for her ideas. But who's to say? Thank you so much for joining me to wind down together. I hope that you have a wonderful week, many blessings, and goodbye.